Hi, I'm Symphoneers, and today we're taking a look at this 0 rare artifacts list I made for Standard. It has been holding on to a decent win rate in Mythic, or like the initial testing has gone pretty solid, coming in at 66%, so thought it would be a good deck to do a video on. This list was very much inspired by just looking at Mandible Justicar and Veil of Assimilation from the new set, looking at their triggers and going like, wait, that's actually pretty good. Can we use that? The lifelink on Mandible Justicar also great in aggro matchups for like helping to stabilize things. I just wanted to round out the shell or kind of support playing a lot of artifacts to get a lot of procs for these two things. Rounding out that kind of idea or that game plan, we have a full playset of Patchwork Automatons, just a really nice high quality growth threat that fits the theme well. We are also running 4 annex sentries. These are kind of our main form of interaction, and they are conveniently an artifact. Our other forms of interaction being 1 laydown arms and an ossification. The ossification is kind of in here to help support the Michiko's Reign of Truth. The fact that Michiko's Reign of Truth works for artifacts as well as enchantments means that even though it itself is not an artifact, we can very much use it in this deck to pump up some of our threats, and we can get our like enchantment artifact count up with spells like ossification and, you know, make an absolutely gigantic swooping lookout. Just a good little artifact flyer. The vigilance flying 1-2, just a pretty like reasonable okay stat line. We're mostly excited about swooping lookout in that it is a great buff carrier, like it is a great target for Veil of Assimilation and Michiko's Reign of Truth, since it can fly over things, get in for, you know, big damage, big beats, and then you still have a 1-2 on defense for chump blocking or whatever if you happen to need it. We are also running a full playset of Hotshot mechanics. It's just a 2-1 artifact creature that we can play early, be aggressive, you know, beat down with. We are also playing a full playset of both Inscribed Tablet and Basilica Skull Bomb. Both of these are in here to get our artifacts count up, to help enable turns where, like, we've established a couple of, you know, grow threats or pump threats in Automaton and Justicar and so on, and then we play out, like, 3 or 4 artifacts that we maybe didn't get down early, like, that aren't creatures that can't beat down, and then we use those to, you know, trigger a massive turn where suddenly we're swinging in with, you know, 6/7s or 7/6s or whatever, and clocking the opponent, just killing them dead. Woo! The Basilica Skull Bomb, the activated ability, is actually semi-useful in the list, in particular if your versus like tokens control type of list, like something using Wedding Announcement to stall out the board and like generate little 1/1 chump blockers for your threats. The Skull Bomb granting flying can be handy for like making your huge Patchwork Automaton evasive enough to close out the game, maybe deal with a problematic planeswalker or whatever. Although you should also feel very comfortable just cracking it for card draw as well. In the mana base, we're running 1 Roadside Reliquary just because we do have artifacts and some enchantments to work with, so we can occasionally get the draw to, and we're running a bunch of the Fair Basilica. Kind of in short, the Fair Basilica is just a way for us to squeeze a little bit more utility and power out of our mana base, and the concessions required to do so aren't that big, which is nice. I think that more or less covers the deck, so if you like the deck tech, like the video, subscribe and stuff, helps the channel a lot, and let's get on to some actual gameplay. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I like this hand quite a bit. We will do Swooping Lookout, Automaton, Justicar, Michiko's. We are versus mono red, which is a concern. We maybe want to lead with the Justicar over the Automaton just to get our lifelinker down sooner, although they tend to have a lot of burn early. Or like your mono red opponent will usually, they should, I guess that's fine. Or like we have the block there with the Swooping Lookout anyway. Let's do... I am concerned. Let's do the Automaton here. We'll do the Automaton, get in with the Swooping Lookout. The sequencing I'm looking at is Mandible Justicar plus Swooping Lookout next turn. Urabrask's Forge, maybe we're a little concerned about it. We'll eat the token for free, keep the Automaton up. We're probably blocking with the Automaton. I had some line of thought I was going to say, but yeah, we want to get the Justicar out. Get probably the Swooping Lookout down, or we could maybe do... No, we'll do the Lookout. We could use a double land draw, or not a double land draw, sorry. We could use a 4th mana here to get Veil of Assimilation plus Michiko's, just to get the Mandible Justicar big. Our opponent rocking multiple Urobrask's Forges. No removal for the Mandible Justicar, which is cool and good and important. So Urobrask's Forge does Urobrask's Forge thing. We will take out Felden, free block that token, and go from there. Blazing Crescendo, Eater of Virtue, I like their deck. I have not had much success with builds of mono-red like this, but, you know, all the you do you, or people can have success where I don't. That sentence just fell out of my brain as I was saying it. Woo! So Michiko's on Mandible Justicar. 9/8 lifelink is pretty cool and good. Sorry, we are hitting them for a lot. In short, Blazing Crescendo, maybe keep back the Automaton, I'm unsure. I just don't want to die on the crackback. We lifelink up to, sorry, this is math. Yay, math is for attackers. We lifelink up to 16, they have 3, 4, 5 damage from the Swift Spear, plus 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 from Urobrask's Forges, so we're dead to like a double lightning strike type of draw. We'll have another Michiko's proc next turn, and we can, yeah, we don't need to attack with the Automaton. And, I guess the lookouts can chump block either way. We just, yeah, kind of want to be careful. Don't want to give it up for free. So, let's do this, maybe. I am overthinking this, almost certainly. We want to keep our artifact count high for the Justicar lethal. And we can take a pretty big hit here from the lifelink. They may very well have a lightning strike in hand, but 3 life isn't dead. Another Kumano faces Kakazan, sure. We're fine? We're fine! Woo! Yeah, I slowed down a lot in that game. I'll probably edit my thinking down a little bit, but it's important sometimes when you are the aggressor or like you are having this kind of close games to, you know, just make sure that you're not being dumb. Anyway, good game to our opponent. This hand is pretty okay. Lands for the Hotshot Mechanic and Justicars, then we have the Fair Basilica and Skull Bombs for some more utility on later turns. Kind of utility, kind of power. Good enough for getting started, anyway. Opponent on a mono-green game plan. I like those lands. Neat. Loam Speaker, they're presumably ramping up. We will get Justicars down. No attacks because of the Loam Speaker. I'm not sure how concerned we are about pushing damage. We have a lot of Justicars in hand. And, yeah, if they get right to Nissa, like if they ramp to 5, 6, 7 pretty cleanly, that might be an issue. If they're doing this, we might be okay. Looks like they have a fight spell that they're going to use on the forest, maybe, to take out one of our threats. Definitely an odd move. Okay. Yep, they bushwhack. And that's fine, honestly. Or like if they want to spend their entire turn doing that, we'll take it. We will get another Justicar down. One of the things I love the most about the Justicar and, it's already fallen out of my brain. Veil of Assimilation triggers is that they work with artifact creatures, kind of as compared to a normal prowess deck. So you can do like threat development stuff and still get some triggers to work with, which is nice. We might be doing Annex Sentry on the Evolving Adaptive. I'm not unconcerned about the mana dorks, but I don't think that they are critical to deal with right now. Another thing we could do here is Mandible Justicar plus Michika's Reign of Truth, and then do like Annex Sentry plus Skull Bomb next turn, which I don't hate, just because it gets even more things that get like triggers on the field, and it's still fairly aggressive, or yeah, it does some work. We hit them for 10 lifelink, which is not too shabby. Yeah, Annex Sentry plus Skull Bomb should do some good work next turn. They chump block the 7/6, so they only end up taking 3. Our opponent may be going to play a big threat finally. There she is. Yeah, so Nissa going to town, or doing stuff, doing things. If they disenchant here, they can do it. I don't know that I would have if I were them. I would certainly not have attacked there. Okay. Another Michika's Reign of Truth is interesting, because, sorry, we have 7, 8, 9. We absolutely have lethal with this. So yeah, our opponent very much on like a normal or kind of conventional mono-green beatdown rampy plan, and we just kill them. That's the kind of cleaner way to deal with Nissa. Deal with the opponent. Yeah, they're a little bit slow in getting their threats, or like their big spooky stuff down, and we just punish really effectively. Good games to the opponent. This is a really strange hand in that we don't actually have any creatures. The Michikas, of course, well, the Michikas flip into creatures. We could also immediately crack the Basilica Skull Bomb to try to draw into something. I'm going to risk it. Get the Skull Bomb down right away, and we'll see how it does. Oop. Immediately punished, kind of, sort of. By which I mean, of course, just, yeah, no creatures still. This could be a problem. Armored Scrap Gorger, sure. Annex Sentry, I'm not deeply concerned about the Scrap Gorger, like it's good to slow them down, bolt the bird and etc. Remove ramp. We mostly want to do this just so we have a thing to carry the Michiko's buff. Mandible Justicar, neat. Let's actually get the Mandible Justicar down and crack this tablet, because that will give us a land, and then on future turns we can, or like next turn we can play out both Michikos and really start beating down, which is good. Our opponent at 5 mana now, which is enough for Nissa with double Phyrexian, Contagious Vorak, Big Pig. I like Big Pig. I don't know if Big Pig is good enough for constructed really, like truly fully. Oh, that's a big problem for us. They at least don't have mana up for the Canker Bloom, which is a saving grace. So, let's do Michika's Reign of Truth on the Mandible Justicar, and then backup Reign of Truth on... We could go all in on the Justicar. I think I would rather split. Nice. I think I would rather split. Just because even though this does open up the trade, or like the option of them 2 for 1ing the Justicar, yeah, we're kind of okay with this, or like... The Canker Bloom can sacrifice itself to kill the Justicar anyway, so getting a good trade there is, I think, better than kind of greeting or going all in and pushing less damage through to the opponent. Augur of Autumn is neat. Augur of Autumn is very bad in the standard because it dies to cut down. It's fine. So our just very large annex entry, technically there's no reason to play things out right now, so we'll just do this. Avoid giving away information unnecessarily, and etc, etc. Annex entry, they're chump blocking. Then we will do Patchwork Automaton, Inscribed Tablet, and probably crack both Inscribed Tablets just to get this happening. Like, we have our Michika's buffs, we've already gotten all our value out of them. We'll do that, play land, grab more land, deck thinning, woo! Often, I believe the tablets can, the tablets can hit the Fair Basilica, which is one of the reasons we're running the full place of Fair Basilicas. Because that helps kind of set up the draw case, or like, it sets up the tablet as actual card draw, albeit very expensive and like noodly card draw, but card draw for a aggressive deck that wouldn't usually have it otherwise. We'll just get out the Justicar. I probably should have cracked the Basilica first, actually, but we still have 2 mana to work with, which is fine. Are we dealing with the Augur now? I am going to save the Ossification, I think. I'm not really expecting the Augur to be deeply irrelevant over the next turn or so, and they could play things like Nissa, Defiler, a Tyrannix Rex, for example, that we are a lot more concerned about. You have Ward 4, right? Great. So that's why we saved the Ossification there. And yes, we will target this, auto-pay, dump a bunch of mana into it, and deal with their huge threat. Yay! We do the thing! Yeah, kind of like the last game in that we just successfully establish a board presence before Mono Green does stuff. Woo! Annex sentries are a little bit awkward. We do technically have a play on 2 with the Veil of Assimilation. Like, not having a 1 or 2 drop, like an aggressive creature here, make this hand a little bit iffy. Not bad enough to mulligan, I don't think. But I'm not jazzed about the shape of this hand by any means. We'll get a tablet down so we can maybe crack it for a land if we need to. We would like to get the Annex sentries down semi-early, I think, if the opponent is versus control. As I was saying, in a match that I'll probably cut because it was very short. The opponent scooped super early. Control is pretty bad for us. If we eat sweepers or whatever, we don't really have a way to recover. The Annex sentries are also kind of dead in this matchup. We can at least hit the Celestis here. Drawing our land there was very helpful. We can hit the Celestis here to slow them down. We're concerned primarily with them hitting 6 mana probably for Farewell. Although we have... yeah, just try to beat down. Let's do a Swooping Lookout. Do Veil of Assimilation. One nice thing about Veil of Assimilation 2 that I didn't mention in the deck tech is that it does insulate against the Wandering Emperor, because it gives things vigilance. If they're vigilant, of course they don't tap, and the Wandering Emperor can't exile them. So the primary form of interaction that I think they have in the Wandering Emperor can't actually hit the Annex sentry. Kind of as is, which is... yeah, okay. Still not feeling good about this game, but I at least got to, like, talk through that kind of, you know, that whole thing. Next turn we're probably buffing up. Yep, no, there's the Depopulate. And things are about to get much worse. Thankfully, for the purposes of this deck, like blue-white control is not a really big portion of the meta or anything. But yeah, control, not great. We'll eat the token for free just because that's a good thing to do. We could crack an inscribed tablet here. Maybe I'll do that just because we can play out the Skull Bomb and still pay the full price next turn. So we'll grab a Fair Basilica to set up for long-term draw. Maybe kinda sorta. They zero out the Emperor for the token, which is interesting. Mandible Justicar, we finally get a little bit of board presence, so that's helpful, maybe. Do have a suspicion that they're just going to farewell me next turn, but, you know, we will try, we will do the stuff. Basilica Spellbomb, Annex Sentry goes Burr, Mandible Justicar technically gets Pump, although, you know, not super relevant. I assume they just chump block this. Yep. Samurai goes to the grave. We'll crack an inscribed tablet so I stop holding priority and they can do whatever. Just grab a plains. Celestis ticks. Memory Deluge means they probably have other plays in hand that they like. Yeah, that's game. Almost certainly. Do 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 do. Oh, sorry, we're dead on board to the mites. That's my bad. I am just going to concede. Because, yeah, whoops. Good games to the opponent? Yeah, control, anything with sweepers really is a pretty bad matchup. We can punch through spot removal to a reasonable degree, but sweepers in particular, like taking out our threats, is just very difficult for this deck to recover from. Our draw, we have a little bit of draw in the mana base with the lands and stuff, but that is not enough to compensate for getting like 3 for 1 or whatever. This hand is pretty good. Lots of 1-drops to work with, Patchwork Automaton on 2, nice and aggressive. I'm hoping this will be nice and like fast enough for a win. I had 2 or 3 games versus control decks that I'm probably going to cut. Just because you saw that one game versus a control deck, it was more of that. Yeah, a lot of control deck and like bunk Mythic. Control decks. Good sentence me. I guess I'm not really excited about just trading off with Crawling Chorus. Maybe I'm supposed to do that trade there just to slow them down. Let's do a hotshot mechanic and an ossification. Or a swooping lookout. We should do a swooping lookout, actually. Get the automaton up to 3 so it can punch through or like not trade with the crawling choruses. And then, yeah. Yep, that happens. We can ossification 1. I suspect if they're on like Selesnya Toxic, they will have a Slaughter Singer or something. Like just some other threat that we like to deal with. Wow, it is getting late. And I am talking good. Tokens? Okay. So more of a token deck. Skull Bomb would not be the worst here. Our hotshot mechanics really feeling kind of like duds. They're keeping things back defensively too. We are expecting, if they're on a more tokensy game plan, to just be hitting like literally wedding announcement tokens with our creatures to get chump blockers out of the way. And then from there, Yeah, beat them to death. Our automaton should be okay for the moment through ward, unless they have... Ooh, yeah, dedicated tokens list with King Darian. Darian? Darian. So let's annex sentry. I would kind of rather ossification King Darian, because I don't know what type of interaction they're packing. The mites can't block, though. The mites can't block. We could just hit the other thing. We hit them for 8 this turn, potentially. Hexproof Indestructible. Yeah, we should deal with King Darian, even though I'm not jazzed about it. Do this. Gives us a swing with our 2/2 automaton, 2, which is good. Just for applying pressure, our opponent takes all the damage, goes down to 8, which is good for us. Yeah, Fateful Absence on the Annex Sentry, so they get Darian back. We have Ossification plus Clue. We fully don't care about the mites in this position. We're expecting or hoping to be able to kill them before Toxic Matters. Draw a card. Yeah, we will... Ossification. Take care of King Darian. I maybe would have cracked him for Indestructible if I were the opponent, just because that buys this token a turn on the field. Unless they have enchantment removal. Anyway, I'm getting distracted playing their deck for them. They don't have the cards in hand to deal with our board state and stuff, so yay, that's nice. Oh, yeah, that's going to be the end of the video, I think, because like I said, I had a couple of rough or boring games in a row, just like, welp, into the infinite removal that is most of Standard, when I'm not getting the, like, fun and interesting matches like this that are at least not, yeah, eating sweepers constantly or whatever. Anyway, good games to that opponent. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye! Thank you for watching the video, and an extra big thank you to the Patreon patrons and YouTube members that help make these videos possible. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.